right? The first element of power is authority. What is authority? As an element of power, authority is the same uh, as it is defined as the power to enforce or the rule of order, right? In other words, the capacity to just give orders, to possess authority, to possess the power, to give orders, to direct, right? Authority, the real sense of it, is closely related to power in the sense that uh, they both emphasize on the moral right to exercise power by the power wielder and requires unquestionable compliance by the people. So if I possess power, I have authority to impose or to to tell you what to do without you resisting, without you saying no, without you saying anything, but just to comply with what I'm telling you because I possess the power, I possess the authority. That means authority and power, they are working along, they are getting along. So now we still on authority as an element of power, right? So there are different types of authority. The first one is uh, um, charismatic authority. Charismatic authority is when a leader with charisma exercises something like a divine power over its followers. We know of the Pope of Rome, who is such kind of good of example of charismatic authority. Pope possessed the authority in Italy. We all know that. So it is believed that his authority is automatically related or borrowed from the divine, right? From power. Uh, and after that, we also have traditional legitimacy. Traditional legitimacy is based on the belief in the sanctity of tradition, where political systems are shaped more by the tradition of setup. Setup. So in Britain, there is this other belief that the Queen is the base. The Queen is the ultimate uh, ruler with all authority. So that belief is not found everywhere. It only worked in Britain. The same as in Swaziland. So we'll see that authority, different countries have got different investment of authority. Some vest the authority or executive power or authority on the president. Some vest it on the queen. So it's a form of traditional belief or traditional. That's why we call it traditional legitimacy, as in a form of authority. The third and last form or type of authority is rational legal authority. This is based on rational ground and anchored in impersonal rules that have been legally enacted or contractually established. In modern days, we see a situation whereby we go through votes, whereby one becomes president, he has to sign that he's going to rule for a 5 years term, and he's legally recognized by everyone that he's been given authority to take decision to guide the country to a better or the worse. So it depends, right? So that's rational and legal authority. Beside authority as an element of power, the second element of power is influence. What is influence? Influence refers to the ability of private individual and group of influence to government action, right? For example, so the individual and groups do not themselves hold the relevant government offices, and therefore do not possess the requisite formal and legal authority to make official governmental decisions that are binding on society, right? That's influence, which is easy to understand. The third element of power is legitimacy. So legitimacy is closely related to authority in the sense that legitimacy denotes to the legal and moral um, and moral acceptance of a government or a leader or institutions or even only an ordinary individual by other people. So in democracies, we've seen that the constitution provide that there must be a constant holding of free and fair election at a certain period in order to allow someone to have legitimate power. So legitimacy is the hallmark of international relations at an advanced stage, right? So actually I'm doing international relations. Some of my terms might be in the international sense, but that's the real sense of it. Legitimacy is just that a leader or an individual has been given or has been recognized as a person to lead or to guide by or to make decision by the whole people, by a group of people who have been voted in, just like in democracy. Right. That's all about political power. Right. Now, what is development? Let's try and contextualize development. Um, Development, in its broad understanding, it is an elusive term comprising opposing sense of understanding based on different disciplines. Not everyone or not every discipline can apply or can define or can come up with the same understanding or definition of development. So it is not always the case that there will be uniformity in one's understanding of what development entails, right? So development sometimes is defined as a goal, right? Or as a process, or as an empowerment. So with a broad understanding of development, it is a process that creates growth, systematic progress, or positive directed change for the betterment of life. That's development in a broad understanding. So development can be political development, economic or social development, or even cultural, based on the discipline that you are contextualizing. Right. So development is a process for growth or progress. Right. So the main goal of development is the betterment of life in the in political sense. Or in the start of international relations. Development in political sense is the goal that is to the betterment of life. One of the greatest scholar of the 21st century, known as Francis Fukuyama, he was of the argument that development was borrowed from the discipline of biological science, where development was used there as a weight. It was usually used there. That's Francis Fukuyama. So it had to do with biological process of development, such as, the development of a human being and the fertilization, whereby, the egg should join and stuff to produce a human being. Or even where you see a chicken laying an egg, and then the egg is to develop a chick after a period of time, and then with time the chick will then become a fully, a fully grown up or a grown chicken, right? So that's the development in scientific term. We are to talk about botany, right?